All right, what up, Fit Fam? Belanco here, and we finna pregame for the back workout today. Well, pull workout, and I'm gonna show you guys how I make my pre-workout meal. Firstly, cream of rice. Get you a good bowl, and for this meal, we are going for 120 grams of cream of rice raw. Don't be a lot. It'll be several scoops. Almost there. We got 90. Should be one more good scoop. 119. Look at that. So after that, we're gonna get a good saucepan. Close that down. We're gonna get a saucepan out the cabinet. My wife has about 40 different kinds, so I got to maneuver through them all. I don't use her pans. I use these right here because she don't use these, and she hates when I use her pans because when I use her pans, I always leave a mess. We're gonna get 1 cup. Fill it up twice. Get this pan over here actually so I don't make a mess. One and two. We got 2 cups of water. We're going to turn that to a boil. Now, I know there's people who they do it a little differently. Some people do it in the microwave. Some people use a kettle. I've even seen people heat the water up in the bowl and pour it in here. Me personally, this is the only way I have found that when I mix the cream of rice into the water, I don't get any clumps. Now, you can say, get a whisk, by the way, and you can say, oh, your water ratio ain't right. It may not be, but for the water ratio that I like and the consistency that I like, this is what works for me. So 2 cups of water, 120 grams of cream of rice. And the trick with this is when this starts to boil, the moment you go to pour that rice into that water, you need to be stirring. You need to already be whisking the water while slowly adding the rice. That way you give the rice time to absorb the water, in individual small pieces versus dumping a whole big old clump on top of it. So while that heats, I'll be getting down the rest of my ingredients. All right, so we're going to need protein powder and peanut butter and a banana. Okay, so this is how I like to do it. Typically what I'll do is I'm going to wait, get everything already ready. I'm one of those type of guys where I prefer to get everything I got open, ready to go. So that way it's a very quick process and I can get to eating as fast as possible. You can even go to the extent of sometimes I've done this, get the lid of the protein powder, 50 grams of protein powder for this meal, 50 grams of powder weight, I should say. Let's get it. That way people are corrected. And if you want to get snazzy, I got the same one but another flavor. This is, I think, chocolate chip oatmeal, which I love. This has been one of my favorites for a good minute. All right, so we got 50 grams inside this lid. I'm an extremist. Like, I move really fast with everything. So 24 grams of peanut butter, 21, 24. I said it just like that right there. I put, literally, I'll set the spoon in the lid, set to the side, right next to the cap for the protein powder. And now we are ready to finna start adding the cream of rice. And then when I add this, it's going to happen really fast, which is why I say I like to have everything really ready and ready to go. So whisk that in there. And while that's doing that, when I tell you I'm an extremist, I'm going to get this peanut butter, get it off of this lid, set my peanut butter in there. That way when I pour that hot cream of rice into the bowl, it melts the peanut butter and it stirs a little easier. So I'm going to pull it off the heat. Look at that. Look at that, boys. Look at that. Creamy, boy. No clumps. The exact way I needed it. Everything creamy. I'm going to pour this in here so y'all can see it. I'm going to get a spatula so that way I get every last drop out of this. That one won't work. Let me get a different one. Forget the wife's, her stuff. I'm going to wait that. So look, watch how creamy this is. Look at this. That's what you want, man. That's what you want. I don't care. Y'all can do it how y'all want. This is what I do, and it works for me, and it works very, 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 very well. Get everything out of the pan. I need all of it. I need all of it, boss. So that's burning my hand. So before I go to add my protein powder, I like to typically go ahead and stir up peanut butter in it, get everything off the edges that didn't land directly in the bowl, get that going. Now look at this. I'm telling you, my cream of rice consistency is crazy. That's crazy. You just gotta do what works for you. All right, so boom, that's there. Now we're gonna add the protein powder a little bit at a time. And the reason you add a little bit at a time, because you add too much into a bowl like this, it will start to try to fall out the edges. So we're gonna slowly just mix in the protein powder like so. Get that stirred up in there and get it nice and stirred up. Let me get this up here. So get the rest of this stirred in here. And sometimes you may have to add a little water because depending on your protein powder and what it's made out of, it can either thin it out a little bit or it can thicken it up a little bit. I've realized the Action Sledge style whey isolate, it will typically thin out my cream of rice, and the Redcon 1 MRE will actually thicken up, and it will turn to like a really like doughy consistency, which is what I like. Like you see, it's almost like a big thing of dough. That's the consistency I like. Kind of almost makes it feel like I'm making a cake. Get that going. Get that turned in some more. Okay. Got that in there. And like I said, the consistency is all on subjective. So if you want it a little bit where it's not so like doughy like this, you can add a little water and it'll thin it out. But this is personally how I like to eat it. I'm telling you, my cream of rice be so. Next step we gotta add is the banana. Now I know this is gonna weigh about 110 grams or so. So tabuk. I seen a video one day, a guy was doing this with his cream of rice, and the bro was biting it into chunks. That's a little crazy for a video, but to each your own, I guess. I'm not gonna judge him, or maybe I was just a little bit. Oh well. Okay. So 104 grams. I could have dumped the whole banana in there, but there you have it. Within minutes. Now, this video's only 11 minutes long so far, and that's with me doing all my little running around, so I ain't talking to y'all. So within, I would say, 8 to 10 minutes, you can have your rice, your cream of rice, completed and ready to go for eating. Blanco, peace out.